Good morning, church. It is so good to be with you on this Sunday morning, this special moment in the life of our congregation. My name is Laurie Bilby, and I am one of a team of worship associates that have the honor of welcoming you today and of serving South Church, along with our interim minister, Reverend Susan Sahusky Brown, and our director of Lifespan Ministry, Kirsten Hunter. We are delighted to have again with us this morning Reverend Ellen Quaadgras, our candidate minister who will be leading our worship service. And we have all kinds of great music today, graciously offered by Jonny Peiffer, Susan Adams, Joe McEachern, Reverend Ellen, and the South Church Choir. Our time for all ages this morning will be offered by the senior youth who've been out on a camping trip. And as this is an intergenerational service, our young people are invited to stay with us throughout our precious hour together. And of course, many hearts and hands go into every Sunday service, and we thank all of those who work tirelessly behind the scenes as noted in your order of service. So thank you for joining us this morning, this Sunday morning, whether you are visiting South Church for the first time, are an occasional visitor, are returning after an absence, attend as often as possible, and are here in our beautiful historic sanctuary or watching from somewhere else. You are very welcome. And now a few folks have a few announcements about some important happenings.
Good morning, everybody. It's so great to see all of you. I feel like I know at least 5 people getting married and graduations and proms and everything else happening this weekend. So I appreciate you taking an hour and a half to be here this morning. A couple quick things. Kirsten wanted me to remind you that there is childcare downstairs. So any parents who do need to bring their kids down, please do. And there'll be childcare during our congregational meeting. But today is a special day. As I'm sure you all know, when you checked in, you got an agenda for our congregational meeting that's going to happen right after this. And you should also have ballots. So we're going to move right into our congregational meeting when we're done. And again, I just want to say thank you for being here today.
Hello. Just a reminder that the 33rd annual Pocket Garden Tour is coming up on June 24th and 25th. It's in the Goodwin Park neighborhood this year. Ticket sales have already begun at local retailers, online, and right here at South Church. This is a South Church fundraiser. It raises funds for us. And so we need all of South Church to be participating. You can sign up to be a garden host, which is formerly known as garden sitters, or you can bake some of the 2,000 plus cookies that we would like to have in some of the gardens. We will be in the narthex and portico after the service, but this is a pretty busy Sunday, so if you need to hold off, maybe look for links online to sign up on Facebook or come back and see us next Sunday, whatever works for you. We will be here and we need your participation, so thanks.
Good morning, thank you. My name is Jennifer Wilhelm and I'm here to let you know that we're offering a new meditation course that's 4 weeks long. It's with Shadayu from Aryaloka Buddhist Center. It's going to start on Thursday, May 26th. It's from 6:30 to 8:30 here downstairs. The sessions are 90 minutes and it's by donation. So if you're interested, please email me. The information is in your order of service. And if you have any questions, I'll be around afterwards as well. Thanks.
They are so
As we light this chalice in our sanctuary, we invite those of you who may be watching from other spaces to light a candle or chalice in yours as well. These are the words of Deborah Burrell, who is a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Birmingham, Alabama. Fire consumes and casts a bright light. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past, our fears about the future, and our worries about today. May it light for us a path of joy and peace. Please rise now as you are able and join me in reciting our mission statement, which will be either on your screen or in your order of service. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. Thanks. You may be seated. So, a number of years now, I went to Italy for the first time with some friends with whom I'd been studying Italian through the Kittery Adult Education Program. One of these is a well-known watercolor painter and teacher on the seacoast. Somewhat against my will, before the week was up, she had a paintbrush in my hand, also for the first time. Now, some dozen years later, I still play with the paints a bit. Now, I can look out on this congregation, and I know who's maybe watching as well, people who are much more accomplished artists than I will ever imagine being. But I do find painting to be a very satisfactory way of seeing more deeply and of nurturing in my rather analytical self some more creativity and some more beauty. That's when painting isn't just a complete exercise in frustration, of course. But more and more, I find myself wanting to paint portals, windows, archways, and especially doors. Of course, they add interest to architecture. They break up the solid planes of walls. But beyond that, to paint a portal, to pause, to peer, to ponder, is powerful. There's a mystery and an energy about a threshold, a door, a kind of convergence in that place of whatever lives on both sides. And who made this door? Who planed the wood? Who forged the iron? How many hands went into the ability of how many feet to come and go, and for how many decades or centuries? Who decided the size, the shape, the color? Who keeps it oiled on its hinges? And what is on the other side of the door I may have been looking at, sketching, trying to capture the look and feel of for the past couple of hours? What kind of people? What kind of place? What would I hear, feel, taste, smell if I were invited in? And in Italy, especially, what would I taste? And also, in thinking about so very many doors, do I even have the courage to enter? The openness and curiosity to go into the newness? What are the dangers? What are the amazing possibilities? And who are the companions who will go with me from the present into this great unknown? Our opening hymn is number 368. I invite you to stand. So, I think there's senior youth here, maybe, to do the time for all ages. Kirsten? Somebody? Somebody? Dang, you know, they were off camping this weekend. I wonder if they've been delayed in their return. Well, let me think really quickly if I can come up with something off the top of my head. Maybe I'll start recruiting volunteers like Joanne Piazzi or somebody to come do this. I'll come down. In the meantime, yeah, we might have to do that. We'll see. But no, we've got other things going on later, though. That's a good idea. But so, if anyone would like to see the story a little bit closer, come on up. I do invite kids. I mean, we're going to have one, so come on up. Come on up. We're going to have. Oh, thank God.
Wow. We were in Pawtuckaway. Maybe some of you knew our youth group was camping this weekend out of Pawtuckaway Campground. We've been going out there for...
Yeah, we realized we've been doing trips with kids out there for 10 years now.
10 years.
But, you guys, this year was totally different.
It was so weird here.
It was so creepy out there. Oh, man.
Yeah, I've never... 10 years. I feel very familiar at Pawtuckaway Campground.
I thought I knew.
Rain, shine, cold, warm, and it was very warm this weekend.
I thought I knew what to expect.
I did too. I never really, for a long time, haven't been surprised by the campground. But this year we got there.
We realized when we got there that it was Friday the 13th.
That was the first sign.
Realized that tonight there's a total lunar eclipse.
It was an almost full moon on Friday. It was unusually warm.
And then
as darkness fell,
it got weird.
It got weird. There were noises on the leaves.
Loud noises.
Loud
rustling.
Noises in the dark. Now, loud noises in the dark, not the most comfortable thing to hear.
I don't usually mind that much, but this sounded like big, powerful animal noises. Like, I'm thinking bear or something like that.
At least like an angry raccoon.
Yeah, rabid raccoon maybe.
So we got flashlights and we start looking around as we're hearing the noises. In fact, as I was setting up my tent, I was hearing them in multiple places behind me. We start looking around, and every time we'd shine a flashlight where one of the noises was, we would see a toad.
A toad.
Not just any regular toad.
I've seen a lot of toads. These were not regular toads. These were hardy toads. They were strong. I'm getting a little nervous just thinking about it. Strong, hardy toads.
And we have, just so you know, 10 years Pawtuckaway Campground, we have never seen a toad before.
One. We've seen lots of frogs and all kinds of things, never one toad.
No. And so it was scary enough. In fact,
there were a lot, though. There were tons.
So many that at first I was afraid I was going to step on them. Then I was afraid they were going to step on me because they were, as you would go down to touch them, they would punch back.
My wrist is still sore. And then they were like throwing themselves into the sides of our tents and like almost knocking our tents down.
Yeah. And so then, as it got a little later, they started making a noise.
Yeah, like who here thinks they know what a toad sounds like? Sasha, what do you think? Yeah, make toad sounds. You would think, you actually sounded more like frogs. You would think that was toad sound.
That's not the sound they made.
Yeah. We're going to need to act this story out for you.
We are.
Because you're not going to believe it otherwise, unless you see and hear what was going on.
So if our toads would mind demonstrating.
They were screaming toads. Hundreds of
cacophony of screaming toads.
Hardy, strong, screaming toads.
It was pretty weird. So then we went through the next day. In fact, Reverend Ellen came out and visited us. We had a really fantastic Saturday. We kept talking about the toads. She thought we were a little crazy.
Because they weren't there during the day.
They weren't there during the day. No sign of the toads.
No sign of toads.
Then, this morning, as we were up early, getting ready to come back to church.
To be here on
with
time.
all of you. In fact, we were going to change and be in clean clothes even.
Splash a little water.
Maybe a little mascara. Who knows?
I don't know about that.
But we woke up this morning. Tim had a pot of coffee going. And then there was this bird. I have never seen this bird before. It was a really beautiful bird. And I don't know birds as well as Jenny, so I often default to Jenny about what kind of bird is this? And I did this morning.
This was a special bird. I had never seen one in person, but I knew exactly what it was when I saw it. This was a pink-rumped so-and-so. And she was flying in and out of this shelter, like this lean-to that we had kept all our gear in. She was going in and out, and she was trying to build a nest in there. And this is where it gets even more strange, my friends. You're not gonna believe this. But her parents were in the trees, and they were speaking in human words. They were speaking English to her, telling her how to build her nest.
Build a nest! Build a nest!
Hurry up and build that nest. You can't live with us forever.
Pine needles! Pine pitch! Come on, you can do this!
Listen to your mother. That's not how you do it. We taught you better than that.
She didn't seem to be succeeding at all with her parents' advice. She seemed frustrated. And then we noticed there were two toads
Screaming at her. And then this goldfinch flies in.
I know how to build a nest. I know how to build a nest. Well, first I usually start with the pine cones, and then the sticks, and oh well. Usually it works for me.
The goldfinch is giving advice. It's not working. The toads are screaming.
And then a blue jay swoops in.
Oh no, I owe him money.
Scares the goldfinch away.
You know
and
how blue jays
jay
can be
has
bossy.
advice.
Well, that's not how you do that. There's only one way to do it, and that's with the big sticks.
She's trying and trying. She's trying so hard. There's so much advice, and it's not working.
The blue jay was kind of bossy. She seemed frustrated. The toads were getting really angry, and then
a starling swoops in.
No, you have to mix everything together like a salad and then put it up. Mix it more. Ugh, you're hopeless.
The starling was a little more gentle, but still bad advice as far as we could tell.
The nest was not making progress.
Oh my gosh, it was really sad to watch. So the pink-rumped so-and-so sat down frustrated. Her toad friends came over.
And she thought maybe they had something to tell her.
And then one of the toads handed her a fortune cookie.
A fortune cookie! Where does a toad get a fortune cookie? So she opens the fortune cookie and she reads what's inside. And then everything changes.
Everything changed.
She gets this idea and she starts moving around, doing something totally different.
She didn't seem like she needed any advice at all.
It was the happiest she looked the whole time we had seen her.
And she started to build the most beautiful nest we've ever seen.
It was quite fitting for a pink-rumped so-and-so.
Indeed.
No pine needles or sticks or pine cones.
Just really beautiful things that she seemed to know exactly where to find them and what to do with them. And after a little while, she had built this incredibly spectacular nest.
And we decided we needed to give her a little space with this nest.
Yep.
So we all went off for a little walk. Even though we were starting to get a little tight on time, we thought she deserved some space. So we went for a little walk. When we came back, she had laid a whole mess of beautiful eggs So many eggs.
Yeah. And we were pretty mesmerized. They seemed like they had been left for us. And we brought them back. We packed up our car.
Toss the eggs in the car, which you should never do.
Never.
Never do that.
But we did. That's what we did. And we made it back just in time.
Yeah, here we are. Oh no. Heads up, everybody. We thought these eggs might have a clue to what the bird had learned from the toads.
And indeed, it did. No, please, Maggie, listen.
So, Julia is going to invite someone to read what it says in the egg.
You want to stand up, Carmi?
Take the best and leave the rest. Your heart knows what you need.
Take the best and leave the rest. Your heart knows what you need.
Excellent advice indeed. And the toads stopped screaming.
For the first time all weekend, we had some peace. And then we had to fly out of the campground to get back in time.
I need a nap
I
and a
need
shower.
nap too. That's our story. Our children can go back to your pews. We're staying upstairs today to be all together.
Wow. And phew. It's now time for the morning offering, time for us to help support all of the good work and good people of this congregation. In keeping with our commitment to act on our faith in the larger community, this month we are sharing our Sunday offering with the Joan G. Lovering Health Center, whose passion it is to honor, respect, and advocate for the right of everyone to maintain freedom and choices regarding their own sexual and reproductive health. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling the need to dig a little deeper these days in support of people who are doing this work. In addition to giving here in person or on our website or mailing checks to the church office at 73 Court Street, you can use the Vanco app on your mobile phone. Please give as you are able. The morning offering will now be gratefully received.
Let us gather our hearts and minds in a spirit of meditation. Let us settle ourselves, just as I've been inviting you all to do during meditations over the course of the week. To join together in a present time meditation of simply noticing what is. I invite you to close your eyes if that feels right to you. I invite you to notice your breath if that feels helpful to you. This breath that reminds us we have a body, that we are whole, we are one, body and mind and emotion and spirit. Notice what is alive in you today. Gratitude, joy, hope, uncertainty, anticipation, distraction, questions, possible answers, a sense of aliveness, or something else. Is there tension in your muscles? Maybe there is lightness in you, or in your heart. Maybe you feel constriction somewhere. Notice what you are feeling in your body. And notice the thoughts that pop or that linger, the ones you like or the ones you don't like, the ones you want to hold on to, and the ones you'd rather not have. May we allow them all in this moment to be exactly as they are. Because when we create room for everything that is, we can invite spirit and compassion and a larger perspective to come into whatever is present in us today. And as we practice becoming present to whatever is in any moment, we become more and more able to hold all we encounter in our sometimes difficult, sometimes beautiful lives. Here, together, may we know that this moment is good, and it is good to be together in it. Namaste and blessed be. I invite you to open your eyes. And I invite you into the time of candles of joy and concern, a time that can bring release, support, strength, and joy. We invite you to come forward around the outside aisles and then loop back to the middle aisle if you'd like to light a candle that represents a joy or concern that you are holding today. And if there's something you want us to know about, please take a moment and write that on your pastoral care blue card in the pew. You can then leave your card in the basket and someone will be in touch with you. And I now invite you to come forward if you choose to light a candle. What if a place like this could save you, change you, make everything better, a little or a lot? Make everything more real, more beautiful, more true. What if this place could help you become more of who you are, invite you to courage, and help set you free? What if participation in a community like this that encourages spiritual practice, relationship practice, practices of service, what if practicing your principles with a place like this could change how you experience everything? When I first met with your search committee, I led a spiritual exercise around thresholds, about change, about moving through a door, about reimagining all the transitioning happening around you, around us, as an invitation to step through a door of change ourselves. The exercise had 2 parts, each of which included choosing from a set of photos on the piano. The first part was, look at your past. Reflect on what has gone before. The ins, the outs, the highs and the lows, the good and the hard in your life. Not to dwell on any of it, but to look back and see what stands out. Some pattern or way of being that you want to leave behind, or some important part of yourself you want to be sure to take with you through the door that separates the past from the still unfolding future. It was surprisingly powerful for me, surprising because, after all, I had planned it. But when I looked at that scattered selection of photos I had placed on the piano, one leapt out at me of 2 hands touching. It affirmed so much of what I have already been feeling. I want to connect more and worry less, reach out more and prepare less, put less focus on how things look and more on the state of my heart, even if that means showing up imperfectly. Those patterns are so tricky. You've heard me talk about that. So then there was the second piece of the exercise. Imagine the future. Here's a door. You're about to move through it. What is calling to you from the other side? What is pulling you forward? What is compelling, important, resonant, meaningful, and what will sustain and energize you when you're on the other side? This time, it was a lightning bolt that caught my eye, and the realization there is enormous power available to me and to any of us, and it is not within my direct control. You are stepping through a door here at South Church. Arguably, this congregation has been in the hallway of change for a while, and that has not been easy. I've heard it in your voices. I have seen it in your faces. You've made it through some things. COVID, of course, had its impact, but as a congregation, you also had change upon change on top of that. Multiple ministerial transitions, some quite difficult, which have led you to make still more change in how you do things and how you see yourself as a community. It's been hard, but there is so much here that is bubbling and good and full of possibility. I have seen that in your faces too. The excitement of having so many of you back in the sanctuary last week and today, I am glad to have been a good excuse. The sweetness of your gatherings that I have been able to attend, your obvious enthusiasm for your congregation and its prominence here on the seacoast, and all the possibilities that this implies. And I wonder, as you contemplate stepping through this door as a congregation, what door of change you personally might be feeling called to as part of that. Anytime there's change around us, it is an excuse to make change inside us. It's something my parents told us every time we moved. You have a chance to start over in some way that really means something to you. In thinking about turning point experiences, a story kept coming to my mind. And now, because this is an all-ages service, I want to let you know that while this story does include an anxious moment, it ends well. It's about a man named Bobby Stoddard who first told it on the Moth stage. He is a man who I imagine, like many of us do sometimes, was feeling a little adrift, a little unfocused, a little unclear about who he was, what his life was about, and where he was going. But on this day, he wasn't necessarily thinking about any of that. He was just out for a little skiing. It was a beautiful sunny day, and he was on an abandoned ski mountain, which apparently has the best powder. As he neared the bottom of one particular run, he jumped into a gully and looked back up the slope. There, he happened to see a young family, a dad, a mom, and their 18-month-old son sledding. The little boy was on the sled, face first. His dad gave him a gentle push towards his mom about 7 feet away. But somehow, to Bobby's shock, this little boy slips right through her legs. And in an instant, he's gaining speed. Although the dad jumps on his sled and takes off after him, you know he's never going to catch him. And this is a ski mountain, not a backyard hill. Before long, the sled is careening down the slope, and Bobby can hear the father yelling, "Parker, jump off!" But Parker just keeps going, his little eyes wide as he narrowly misses a pylon, still gaining speed, heading right for where Bobby is standing. Until Bobby can't see him anymore over the lip of the gully. Bobby can't see the parent, so he's just running to the spot where he thinks the boy is headed. Then baby and sled separate, launched into the air. All Bobby sees is a flash as this baby boy flies overhead, and somehow, impossibly, he manages to catch him in mid-air. In the wake of this moment, Bobby describes a profound experience of aliveness. All his senses are amplified, his sense of smell and taste and hearing electrified as the boy's dad walks up to him and shakes his hand. It was like he could feel the father's fingerprints on his own. As he's driving away, he's watching raindrops explode in slow motion on his windshield and smelling cigarettes from houses that are shut and 100 yards away. And he thinks to himself, yeah, this feels right. This is what it feels like when you find what you do. I found what I do. I catch babies. Bobby goes on to describe his new calling and its expansion in scope. Turbulence on a plane, he'll find the words to soothe fellow passengers. Fight in a bar, he'll break it up. Another baby needing to be caught, he would be there. Although his story ends without a second dramatic rescue, I am struck by how this brush with life's fragility woke Bobby up to its vibrancy. I'm struck by how his first thought was to imagine more ways he could be there for others. I'm struck by how this one anxious moment brought him to life in ways he never could have imagined. And I'm struck by how it brought him new insight into his purpose and his own significance to the people around him. Luckily, I don't think you and I need to catch a flying baby to reconnect with something deep inside us. Bobby's story reminds me how fear and action and waking up, how courage and open-heartedness and meaning, how they are all interconnected. You tug on one string, you tug on all the others too. And his story reminds me how turning point moments that really change us often contain an element of fear, of trembling, and of action. And as we get to the other side, we are reminded of our inherent courage, our natural open-heartedness, and our true significance in the world. Today, you have an opportunity, a more considered, more intentional one, to reconnect with something deep inside, to tug at one of the strings in your heart, to set an intention for yourself as we move across this threshold and imagine life on the other side. Maybe your intention is to take some risks, to invite a little trembling, the kind that shakes loose our old conditioning, shakes loose those old habits that we think keep us safe, but just keep us from life's fullness. Maybe your intention would be to connect more deeply to others here and beyond here, to be a little more vulnerable, a little more real, a little more honest with each other. That itself may invite some trembling. Maybe your intention is to take another step towards setting things right in the world, to protest and rally, advocate, or legislate. Maybe your intention is to something else. You know what it is. You feel its call, its nudge, its potential power. I invite you to imagine it. In fact, I invite you to share it with one another in a moment. In a spirit of shared ministry, I invite you to witness to one another's hope or intention for yourself in 2s or 3s here in the sanctuary, and if you want to post something in the chat if you're online. Or if you are someone for whom it is more powerful to keep your intentions in the silence of your heart, we honor that as well. So if you prefer to simply close your eyes or reflect for yourself while Jonny plays during our time, please feel free to do that. We'll take about a minute for you to reflect, and then I'll ring the bell, and then invite you to share with each other if you choose for another 5 minutes or so. And again, if you're online, you can then post in the chat if you feel moved. How do you want to use this threshold as an excuse to step toward the life you've been dreaming of? together. If you'd like to share with each other, please do so now. I invite you to wrap up your conversations. They can be continued during coffee hour, not right after the service. More than one of you asked me about my vision for South Church. And I'll say one aspect of that is for a new season of adventure and depth, spaciousness and relationship. Taking risks, trying things, growing together, and catching life as it flies overhead in all the ways you just shared with each other and more. Like in this set of imagined snapshots, many of which reflect who you already are, there's enough safety to share your mental health struggles with each other and know you will be heard and held. We all know the names of the 12 homeless people who hang out near the church, and we take in what they have to say. We recognize that in a world of always better, always more, it is good to take time to rest and renew and let the Spirit move. We remember just how precious and fragile all life is, and we partner, for example, with the local high school youth promoting climate legislation in the New Hampshire Senate. We witness to and support the 85-year-old who finally finds their voice and testifies at the State House. We support and welcome, love, and nurture every single young person who walks through these doors and find our hearts lifting just at the sight of them and delighting at their acting skill and talent. We lift our voices in the name of justice. We make friends to make a difference, and we translate passion into action. We live our passion for life. I know that no matter what happens in the vote today, I have already learned and gained a tremendous amount from my time with you. And I am grateful. And whether or not a vote today leads to my call, my deep hope is that whatever you thought of becomes for you a new opening, a seed that will grow to change your life in ways that feel most deeply meaningful to you. Every one of you deserves a relational, purposeful, joy-filled life. Whatever this day or any day may hold, may we all catch life as it flies, learn and grow and vision with arms wide open recognizing more and more our significance to each other and to the world. May it be so. Amen. If you'd like to rise in body or in spirit for our closing song, some of you may know it, some of you may not, but you can move with the Spirit if you would like.
Can't read my mind, I'm undefined. I'm just beginning, the pen's in my hand, ending unplanned. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find, reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can heal it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Set yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. I break tradition. Sometimes my tries are outside the lines. We've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find, reaching for something in the distance,
how we extinguish the chalice, which I do.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
May we find that day by day, bit by bit, as we practice our spiritual practices, as we practice relationship, as we practice living our values, we find our voice, we open our arms, and we begin to change how we experience everything. And then we share that with the world. May it be so. Amen.